Seriously, Toy Fair. Leave some for the rest of the conventions. Hey guys, Jay. Welcome back to the channel. Oh my god, guys. This is just crazy. I mean, seriously, New York Toy Fair is a annual thing. It happens every year, and for the most part, it's for, industry professionals, and doesn't really have too much of a focus on action figures. Well, I gotta tell you, that changed in 2025. Holy crap! It looks like every action figure manufacturer decided to just dump most of their product line for 2025 on New York Toy Fair, and I gotta tell you, I am absolutely blown away at just day one reveals. And for the most part, there's just way too much to cover in one episode. I'm gonna have to split this up into multiple episodes with dedicated features for each company 100%, as this is just a smorgasbord of action figures for 2025. But I do want to do a quick overview of all the figures that were showcased in day one. Let's take a quick look at this, guys. And this is just going to be a quick preview. It's literally going to be quick shots as much as we can because there's way too much to cover here in just one episode. So without further ado, let's take a quick look at what was offered for Toy Fair 2025 day one. It was a shock to see what was actually being presented at this year's Toy Fair. And you know what? Our good friends over at ToyArc.com have been there and covering everything. I want to give a huge shout out to ToyArc.com. They are a wonderful news resource for action figures all year round. Give them a like and a follow and tell them that Jay sent you. Oh my gosh, guys. It is not short of anything to say that there has just been action figure after action figure after action figure after action figure news that has been posted today. All right, let's start off with some of the independent toy makers in the industry right now. 9 to 5 Warriors was actually at New York Toy Fair this year, and that was crazy. I wasn't expecting 9 to 5 Warriors to actually be there, but here we go. 9 to 5 Warriors showcased many of their newest offerings and some of their original offerings from the first wave, and we can see here we have Sergeant Spore, Commodore Crisp, Number 1, Pencil, and Colonel Custard. These guys look pretty damn cool, and they had a full display here. These are very, very fun. I covered these guys with my good friends JP and Carlos of the Badass Reviews, and these guys do look awesome. We can see some of the packaging design here. They look so cool. Now, these are obviously from the original Wave 1. They're on display here. I really do like the lunchbox and the thermos. That is so cool. They have the comic books on display, all the figures here in glass cases, and even some trading cards. That's always a lot of fun. These guys are seriously so much fun, harkening back to some of the food-related toys that we had as kids, and Pixel Dan has really gone above and beyond to talk a lot about the food-related toys from back in the day. I really do like these guys. Tech Sergeant Scotchy, sorry. We also got, the Peanut Gang over here, Major Eraser, Lieutenant Lead. These guys are killing it. And of course, they just finished their next successful Kickstarter, so these guys are well on their way and should be arriving to our doors very, very soon. And I'm glad that the 9 to 5 Warriors made it to New York Toy Fair 2025. Next, we see that Nacelle brought the Biker Meister Nars Sectors, Star Trek, RoboForce, and Expanse. I'm really excited for their Star Trek line as well as their other toy lines. RoboForce is something really, really interesting. Let's have a quick look at these guys. Oh, wow. Looks like Throttle made it all the way to New York. He's even got a hot dog. Isn't that freaking precious? I love it. And we see some great new associated figures. The Great Garloo. Oh my gosh. They're bringing some legacy brands. This is like a legendary figure from back in the day. If anybody doesn't know that, definitely Google the Great Garloo. Definitely a really deep cut from back in the toy days. That is crazy. Looks like I have a whole line of collectible figures. This is a lot of fun. And they even have these 5 POA figures, $5.99 each, different styles. Yeah, I was wondering about that. This is Super 7. I was curious about that. Yeah, this is definitely a Super 7 brand. I was looking, I was like, wait a second, those look like Super 7 figures. I'm wondering if these were actually on display alongside the Nacelle brand, because these seem to be in the Nacelle booth. That is interesting. But there they are, the Sectors. It doesn't look like they have anything new on display here for the show. They literally have only the original 3 figures, Dargon, Stellara, and Night Fighting Dargon, who really, without his insect companion, was a head scratcher for me. As I said earlier, the cards are gigantic, so they really have a wonderful display presence, but at the same time, they kind of flop over on themselves and are just absolutely gigantic in terms of their overall presentation. Biker Meister Mars made an appearance, and they do have their wonderful bikes, which I showcased here at TitanToys.com. You guys can order these on TitanToys.com. They're already in stock, and pick them up right away. There's Vinny with his Radical Rocket Sled, Mondo with his chopper, And we got Throttle with his Martian monster bike. These guys look awesome, and it's amazing they finally got their bikes, as the mice without their bikes seem sort of lacking. So it's really great to see these guys here. We'll definitely take a deeper dive into this in another episode. I just wanted to give a basic overview as to what was available at the show right now. And these were the ones that really caught people's attentions, the newer figures in the line, Wave 2 and 3. Wave 2, and these guys really did not disappoint. We have the 2 female figures in the line, which look so good. I love the sculpts on these, literally looking like they jumped out of the cartoon screen. The big baddie, he's looking awesome, and I'm pretty sure his head actually is replaceable, as that was one of the big features in the show. Grease Pit here looks freaking amazing. I love the paint deco, and of course, that huge head sculpt. Those overalls are just killing it. This is next level stuff right here, guys. Carbuncle, he's definitely one of those stereotypical mad scientists, but he just looks so cool. I love that big brain of his. It looks like he's taking venom right directly into his central lobe. It's so good. And then, of course, we do have Carbuncle's accessory, Fred the Mutant. He's almost an action figure of himself. I'm wondering if he actually comes with Carbuncle, giving real added value to that particular character. I love the fact that we're seeing way more figures into the line. Robo Force, I'm really waiting for either a television series or the cartoon, because as I remember them from back in the day, these look really, really different than the Robo Forces I remember. If I recall, the Robo Force versions were more trash can-like. I mean, they were like really stocky. These ones actually look like action figures, and with a good enough story or comic book supporting it, I think it could be a really cool line. The Cowboys of Mesa did make an appearance, and again, we'll be covering these guys in their own video. Some exclusive biker mice from Mars were on display, and then we get to Star Trek, and this one is really something I wanted to cover because these guys look freaking awesome. Here we can see Tuvix, which was one of the characters on Star Trek. He, of course, is an actual melding of Tuvok and Neelix. We also have Wayun, Archer, and controversial figure in the Star Trek universe, Captain Jellicoe. These guys are looking really, really cool, and I'm so happy to see them on display at the Nacelle booth. Is that the aquarium for Captain Picard's fish, Livingston? What the heck? And does he come with Jellicoe? Oh man, that's just really weird considering the fact that Jellicoe wanted this thing out of his ready room. That's nuts. We also have Scotty's nephew from the Wrath of Khan, Captain Sulu, who was commanding the Excelsior, Captain Rachel Garrett, who was the captain of the Enterprise C in Star Trek The Next Generation, the Vulcan Priestess, who actually helps McCoy and Spock in the events of the search for Spock. We even see the Genesis device in the background. That's crazy. And I wonder if it actually comes with the High Priestess Talar. Wow. They're diving really deep into this. And I know that my brother Dex is going to go nuts when he sees these figures. The sculpt on these guys is just looking absolutely special. Again, I just wanted to cover them here as these are just some of the highlights of the show. Lastly, they also have the Expanse figures, which was kind of controversial at the time that they were announced. These were actually crowdfunded. And I gotta tell you, any fan of The Expanse is definitely gonna have a look at these and say, wow, as these figures pay homage to the original actors who portrayed all of these roles. And I gotta tell you, they look pretty damn good on these Paint Masters. Moving on to the Good Smile Company, they had a ton of different figures on display. And I gotta tell you, some of these are really sought after, and I wanted to take a quick glance at what they had to offer. Here's a really sought after figure, Max Factory's Solid Snake. This has been featured and pre-orderable right now on TitanToys.com. And I gotta tell you, a lot of people are really gunning for this figure as he looks absolutely stunning. The sneaking suit looks so good. He's got his suppressor gun as well as his ordnance, which he picks up on site. Different ammo pouches, different carrying cases for dipazamine that he can use on his mission, as well as the tranquilizer rounds. I gotta tell you, people are very, very excited about this particular figure. And it's great to be able to see him at Toy Fair 2025. Here we have Nay R Automata. She's looking pretty cool. I don't know too much about this figure. I know she's from a popular video game, and she looks awesome. I love that weapon that she's carrying. Very much like a gunblade for all you Final Fantasy VIII fans. From the Elden Ring, we have the Raging Wolf. The detail on these characters is just incredible. We also have the Trapper from Dead by Daylight, Doomslayer, Ganondorf from Tears of the Kingdom. I'm a real sucker for a lot of the Legend of Zelda figures. Unfortunately, I just can't get into another line, and these ones are in a particular scale, which needs to be collected all on its own. We also have the Legend of Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom, Zelda, and Link, and they just look incredible. I love the colors. I love the overall design. Bravo, Figma. You guys are doing some amazing work. We're going to be covering these in a little bit more detail as they move on. I really would like to start collecting these, but again, I'm into so many different lines right now, it can really be difficult for me. They also have additional figures, including Horizon Zero Dawn, some of the mecha that was in that video game. This one is the Motoroid Thunderjaw. It looks freaking amazing. If you've ever played the game, it's pretty accurate. It needs a little bit more shading, I think, that would make it look even more impressive. But as it is, pretty cool. Eva Unit 1 from Evangelion. Always great to see these guys. Max Factory with a whole bunch of new anime figures. And we even have some Silent Hill figures here. Red Triangle and the nurses. I love the paint job on these. You can really see some of the vein work that's coming out on all of her skin. Just nuts. We have another Link figure carrying a bomb and the grappling hook. I do believe this is Zelda from Twilight Princess, looking incredibly accurate as I remember her from the actual game, along with Link, and I do believe that this is Skyward Sword, or it possibly could be from Twilight Princess as well. Moving on to Diamond, they are actually showcasing most of the Kyoto figures, and this has always been a bit of a question mark as Diamond's situation in the overall market is tentative at best. So seeing these and their display at New York Toy Fair is quite refreshing, to be perfectly honest with you, as the future of Diamond really is in question. Here we see a lot of prototype figures, Katsune Miku, Hestia, Ice Wallen, Kasumi, and additional figures, which are all pending licensor approval. We also see some Patlabar figures, the Ingram Unit 1, Eva Unit 1, test version, and a couple of Ryu Hayabusa. One is a figure, and this one is a statue. These look really cool, and it's always great to see these prototype versions on display, as this is a rare look into something that usually does not get any attention except at toy shows like this. And again, it's fascinating to see that Diamond Distributors is still a major presence at toy shows, even with the precarious nature of the situation that they're finding themselves in these days. We also see Revotech on display at the booth. Here's the Flash, Negative Flash, the Joker, Arkham Knight Batman. Anyone who's played with Kyoto knows just how dynamic these figures are. Great to see them at the booth. And it's great to see that Diamond still has quite the presence at Toy Fair 2025. Bandai came strong this year with their Dragon Ball Super figures, Tamashii Nation's SH Figure Arts, and SH Monster Arts. Here we can see they're continuing with their Gundam Universe figures, the Metal Robots, Robot Spirits. These I first saw at San Diego Comic-Con, and I have to admit, it's fascinating to see these figures. These are not Gunpla, they are fully articulated action figures, and they do look absolutely thrilling. The metal robots here, I believe, have either metal skeleton frames, or actually are made with metallic parts. And seeing them here in their overall glory, it really is quite something to behold. Evolved from the expert design, high-end metal build represents nothing less than the pinnacle of die-cast composite material action figure design. Die-cast alloys using the joints and parts to enhance the durability while expressing a mechanical sense of strength and weight. The use of multiple types of plastic for the exterior allows for the section of material based with characteristics for design, articulation, and quality of unsurpassed level. Wow! So as I said, I believe the interior skeletal frame and certain joints are actually made of die-cast, whereas the rest of the figure is made of plastic. This is a lot of fun. Really bringing it up to almost a Soul of Chokugen level in that sense. And it is really reflective in the design, build, and quality that you can see here. Freaking incredible. This particular Gundam actually has the ability to transform from its robot form into its alt form, really giving us a brand new look at Gundams for the future. Dragon Ball also have made a showing at Toy Fair 2025. We see the Nombyong here, the extending pole for Goku. I believe this is very much like those Star Wars lightsabers that extend fully. It's great to see this here on display at Toy Fair. It actually has a strap which you can use to put it on your back. This is definitely going to be a fun piece for kids and adults alike. Here we have something really interesting called Tamashii art. It's almost like a 3D picture come to life. It's like a stanchion, but in three-dimensional forms. You can mount these on your wall, and it actually does give that talk piece idea. Here we have Goku riding atop of a generic dragon. And the description here reads, three-dimensional painting that can be hung on the wall. This figure brand combines vivid coloration and three-dimensional shapes that jump out of the picture, all packed within a frame. It can be displayed as a piece of home decor by hanging it on the wall or placing it on a shelf as an LED inside the frame illuminates the figure. Wow, that is really, really cool. And of course, we have a collection of Dragon Ball Daima figures. These look really, really cool. Along, of course, with the traditional Dragon Ball Z figures. I said Z. And many of those stanchions that have already been available on the market. We also see some Master Lies. Is that how you call it? Master Lies? And it looks like it's actually from the very first Dragon Ball series. We have Master Roshi here all powered up, Bulma and Yamcha as they originally appeared in their first appearances. We have Krillin, Goku, Chi-Chi, Puar, and Oolong. These guys look freaking amazing. Also on display were some Godzilla Monsterverse figures. If you are a Godzilla fan, it was well represented at the Toy Fair 2025 for sure. They had a varying range of different collectibles, including small, what looked to be light-up collectibles, little gachapon type of collectible figures as well, and even some transformable figures, kind of like eggs, which transform into their kaiju counterparts, and any number of different static collectibles. These guys are always a lot of fun. We already covered the Mask preview, and we'll be doing an even deeper dive as they had a huge display at New York Toy Fair 2025. But loyal subjects brought the house down with their Gem, My Pet Monster, and Strawberry Shortcake display. The loyal subjects really is bringing the 80s back with Gem and the holograms. Man, this looks freaking crazy. All of that glam rock is back, and man, I really am loving the way these look. What really gets you is, of course, the fully articulated figures with their elbow joints, knee joints, ankle articulation. They really are bringing this to the next level. The sculpt really does look great, and I do love the paint apps that are on these figures. Here we see the two variations of Gem, one with her more traditional appearance, the other one with a very flamboyant gold look with gold pedestal. And we even have Pizzazz, one of the misfits, and this I believe is the first time we're seeing her in public. She looks incredible, donning her very traditional outfit and makeup, along with her guitar, microphone, action figure stand, and comb. Gem also comes with her Jerrica outfit, concert ticket, film reel, microphone, and comb, along with a VIP pass. The same goes with her alternate gold edition. I believe she can also transform back into Jerrica. I just love that 80s style, and the artwork that comes with it, so retro in its overall design. It's freaking incredible. They also showcased My Buddy and Pals. Always great to see that. This, of course, in my opinion, was the inspiration for Chucky, so definitely don't want to leave this alone in your house. Rainbow Bright made a huge appearance at the loyal subjects, along with all these tiny little collectibles, keychains, blind bags, plushies, socks, headbands, and even I believe there's a cute backpack which you can buy for your kids. My Pet Monster returns in 2025, and he looks so gruesome. I love it. He does have his breakable chains. Additional collectibles are also available, including keychains, some smaller plushies. I do believe that is Beaster, and as we can see here, they are available on a retail pack out. These are a lot of fun and should be hitting store shelves later this year. The World of Strawberry Shortcake returns along with many of these collectible items and some larger figures, which a lot of people were wondering when they were going to start showing up, and it sure looks like Strawberry Shortcake is going to have a huge presence in the toy aisles, including a return with the original figures from back in the day, along with miniature collectibles, keychains, blind bags, and even a whole set of plushies. And as Danny pointed out, they all smell really, really nice. Day one at the Mondo booth was pretty much standard fare. They didn't show anything new today, but I fully expect that throughout the rest of the weekend, they're going to show some crazy stuff. They did show off the new Aw Real Monsters set. Clayface, I believe this is actually the first appearance of Batman Beyond. He's looking pretty cool. Their new Venom figure, Gambit, and Rogue, who have been featured before. Lion-O was also on display, and we were just waiting on bated breath to see the next figure in the line, so it'll be interesting to see when that one finally shows up. We also got a glimpse of the real Ghostbusters, Egon Spengler, and Peter Venkman, along with the two ghosts. The last time we saw these two was at San Diego Comic-Con, and it's great to see both of them here. We also got to see Finn and Jake with their bendy arms and unique designs. They look amazing. Some of the accessories as well included with the set. And of course, we can't go to Mondo without seeing some amazing Masters of the Universe figures. Battlecat, He-Man, riding into battle against Skeletor and Panthro. These guys are a presence no matter where they go. All of us are on bated breath to find out what day 2 holds for Mondo. NECA's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles line is just too overwhelming to cover in just one preview video, so I'm going to save this for its own unique episode, but you can see just by these highlights, it was really rocking at the NECA booth. What was more surprising was their introduction of DC Toonie figures. This was a bit of a shock, as the DC license seems to be bouncing around everywhere with the announcement of their move back to Mattel. And with these, it really is an interesting note to see that multiple companies are actually getting in on the game, and it doesn't seem to be a singular entity that actually can produce action figures, or in this case, stanchions, for DC-branded superheroes. There was also a huge focus on the Sesame Street brand. These are the smaller stanchion figures, which they have on sale, very much like reaction figures, but there was also more of the Ultimates line with Big Bird and the Blue Monster. And then there was even a small reveal under a smelly t-shirt. The Nightmare Before Christmas figures are coming along quite nicely, and a lot of people are very excited about these, as the design sensibilities of NECA really begins to show. They each come with a whole host of accessories, and they really look frightening in their overall appearance. And other fan favorites, Pee Wee Herman in both Toonie Terror and Ultimate style, and rounding off with Alf making his traditional appearance at the show. As a quick note, it's interesting that Sesame Street also has multiple different licensees. The company Blokees is doing Sesame Street figures along with Minions, and these look really neat. These appear to be model kits that you build yourself, which has been an interesting technique to get around the idea of licensing for different toy sets. We've seen Transformers do a very similar treatment in order to be able to bring other types of Transformers to the market, and it looks like Sesame Street is going in that same route with Blokes. We can see Bert here as he needs to be assembled. Same thing with Big Bird, and their overall designs are very unique. Big Bird also seems to be coming with his little teddy bear. I'm not sure if the street scene is something that you can purchase, but it looks really cool as a backdrop for all these additional characters, and they all seem like you need to assemble them, very much like you would a model kit, but with snap-together features. Here we can see the Count, Oscar the Grouch, Bert, and Ernie with his rubber ducky. Here we have the Cookie Monster, Elmo and his friends, and Big Bird as we saw earlier. The scales are a bit unique. As you can see, Abby's actually not that much smaller than Big Bird. Same goes with Elmo, but the overall designs lend themselves very well to kids and collectors alike, so it's really interesting to see these guys on display at New York Toy Fair 2025. Taking a look at the packaging, I do believe it says build and play, so yes, these are actually model kits to a certain degree. Snap and assemble, really easy for kids and parents to get into, so I think that this is going to be a very popular set going forward. We also see the same technique being utilized with the Minions. This is really cool, as these guys are always a lot of fun. Bloke's figure creator, it looks like they're a Chinese company, and I gotta tell you, this idea of using model kits to get around licensing for action figures really is a refreshing take on the overall design aesthetic for overall licensing in the toy market. As a matter of fact, it looks like they have their own unique takes for different Sesame Street characters. Not sure if these guys have ever been canonical in terms of their overall design. We see a Mecha Bert here. We see a Matrix type of character for Ernie. And I'm wondering if these are actually homages to specific anime characters who have come before them. If anybody knows who these are actually referencing, I really would like to find out. Please leave those comments in the comment section below. Super 7 also featured their Wave 13 of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Ultimates, and these are actually featuring the 2003 cartoon series. Mad Hatter did a full review on these figures on his channel. You should definitely check it out, and I will be covering these with my Super 7 episode on Toy Fair. Super 7 brought the house down with many of their new lines, and one of them in particular I had to talk about before moving on. Scrolling down from all the products that were on display, one really caught my attention, and I think a lot of Thundercats fans are going to be on bated breath to see these in stores. That's right, everybody. DX is continuing for the Thundercats, and at $35 each, these are going to be very sought there. We've already got Monkey and Lion-O are already available at Target and Walmart stores, and now joining them, the much sought-after Tygra, as well as Chitara. So many fans have been clamoring for these two, and it does appear that this might be a new version of Tygra, and the paint deco is so much more reminiscent of the cartoon. We can also see, at least in this picture, that there's no weird paint deco on his chest, and that is a welcome sign. Chitara actually looks very much the same. She doesn't look like she's had any additional changes to her figure, which is actually okay. I think it's a much more subdued paint scheme, at least on first glance, and that really does fit in well with the overall design of these more cartoon-accurate versions of the Thundercats. I'll be taking a deeper dive into these in their own episode. And of course, we couldn't leave the Toy Arc preview without talking about the Masters of the Universe, Origins, Masterverse, and Thundercats. Oh my god, guys. We're definitely going to take a deep dive into these on their own episode, but I just want to take a really quick look at what we can expect. First thing I want to say is that the Master Universe cartoon collection is going strong, and we did get to see our first look at Cartoon Collection Shadow Weaver. Uncle Mortok? Are you serious? That's freaking crazy. He can also apparently double up as Orko himself, which is a good move in my opinion. On display was also Faker, Hordak, and for the first time, we're seeing Bo for the Princess of Power. Oh my god, he looks amazing. Literally like he jumped off the cartoon screen, along with his signature bow and arrow. We also got to take a look at Grizzlor for the first time in the cartoon collection. Man, he looks great. And here's a unique one. It is Filmation's Fangman, who I believe was originally supposed to be Fangor, but it's cool to see him here, included with Fangman, which is an awesome nod to the original Filmation cartoon. We also caught glimpses of new Eternia figures, including our first look at Terraclaw Skeletor, and I think this is really what they were hoping for in terms of a design for this figure. But even more exciting than Skeletor was definitely the revelation that we are getting new Eternia, Princess of Power, She-Ra. Holy crap, guys. I was not expecting this. I didn't think they'd go this deep into the line, but man, there she is. Of course, they did have on display Flying Fist He-Man, who's already available and looking spectacular. It is the 40th anniversary of She-Ra, and it's great to see these new figures in the Masterverse line. And taking a quick glimpse at Master Universe Cross Thundercats, Interesting name, I have to say, but I don't mind it. They showed the entire first and second waves. 7 figures in total, 8 if you include the fact that Mumra transforms into Skelera. We're definitely going to have a full episode on these characters, especially with my good friend JP of Thundercats Classics. But let's take a quick glance at them right here. First off the bat, I'm going to tell you that these production versions, and I do still believe they are paint masters on that scale, look a hell of a lot better than they did in the previews that they sent us before. Lion-O looks so much better here with his armor. I'm really excited the fact that you can actually transform them back into their Thunderian forms. That is amazing. Here we go with Panthro. This is our first look at Panthro, and he looks amazing. Almost decked out like a man-at-arms. This is crazy, and I'm super excited to find out that we're getting Panthro in either Waves 1 or 2. Here we see a much more dynamic version of Battlecat in his humanistic form. I gotta tell you, I was actually worried about this when I first saw it, but now my fears have been laid to rest. He looks freaking incredible. Here is Chitara, and wow, she looks amazing. Again, seeing them in their first preview editions that we had a few weeks ago, I really was questioning how they were going to look as action figures, but those fears have been put to rest. They look freaking incredible, especially figures like Tygra. Holy crap, he looks incredible. I love the head sculpt. Again, these are all paint masters, so this is not their final look, but I love the new armor, which really sort of harkens back to the idea that he is invisible in many instances, but it's my understanding that all of these are removable so you can return him into his Thunderian look. Then, of course, there is Skelra, who can also transform into Mumra. Here are all of his accessories, including the swappable head, and I really am encouraged by the way this looks. He looks incredible. Oh my gosh. Unlike the traditional Skeletor, he really is much sleeker in his overall appearance, very much like the way he looks as Mumra, so it's really cool to see him in this form, particularly because you can transform him back into Mumra. And the one figure we've all been waiting for is the most powerful man in the universe. He-Man here is much sleeker, much thinner, having much more of an appearance of 2000X He-Man in the Masterverse Origins scale, and he looks fabulous. His facial sculpt is really cool. I do like the way it looks. Having his hair almost tied back in a ponytail idea. I love the shoulder pauldrons, which are actually more like fleeces on his shoulders. The Eternia style straps with the Lion of Eternia right on his chest. My god, that's amazing. And the Sword of Omens seem to have a destiny all their own. I gotta tell you guys, Master Universe Cross Thundercats is looking freaking amazing, and the artwork is just looking sick. I cannot wait to see more of these guys, but it's amazing to be able to see them at New York Toy Fair 2025. Holy crap. There's just way too much to cover, and as you can see, that was just a quick shot. I just did not have enough time to cover everything. This would have been a 2-hour-long video, and really, there was way more than I even talked about. I don't know what to think at this point. There's just way too much to go into detail with, but rest assured, there are going to be additional episodes, particularly for Thundercats, Master Universe, and all the other lines that I'm really particularly interested in. But of course, you can rest assured that I'm definitely going to be taking a look at the Master Universe offerings as well as Thundercats Master Universe. And I am just loving all the other action figures that have been showcased here, just on day 1 of Toy Fair. Guys, let me know in the comment section below, what are your thoughts about the reveals and previews for everything that's been on the show floor of Toy Fair 2025 at New York? Are you guys just as shocked as I am with some of these actual reveals? Are you guys as shocked as I am that they had this much to show on literally the first quarter of 2025? And is there anything going to be left for the rest of 2025? Or are you just kind of like, what the heck? We've seen a lot of this stuff already. Let's see some more stuff. And you're much more eagerly anticipating days 2 and 3. And can't wait to see those coming up. Let me know those comments in the comment section below, guys. Toy News just continues, guys, and this has just been an absolute bonkers week. As a matter of fact, just before New York Toy Fair started, the loyal subjects decided to drop a bombshell on everybody, showcasing their entire product line at a special press-only event, and we got to take a look at that, and you guys can take a look at that discussion right here with my good friend, Danny Green. We talked all about all of their releases, and it was really eye-opening. You can take a look at that video right here as we take a deep dive into all the loyal subjects offerings, and I'll see you there. I hope you're all doing well, staying safe, and as always, everybody, thank you very much for watching. Good journey. Geek proud, everybody. Toy Fair 2025. Holy crap.